So my responsibility is to make sure that students know about deadlines, the FAFSA, anything that's upcoming, financial literacy, um, scholarships. I also deal with the customer service of our office, which is definitely a full-time job by itself, and just dealing with students' concerns about financial aid overall.
I remember the first time that my parents and I went there. I was still a senior in high school, and we tried to grasp the concept of having federal aid and the financial aid aspect of it. We all found it really confusing at first, because I'm my first and only in my family. I'm an only child, so this was the first time my parents had to go through something like this, and I'm the first in my family to go to a 4-year school. So the whole process was extremely confusing.
I really wanted to graduate early. That was a thing. But then, hearing how hard the classes I'm going to be taking are deterred me from that, which means I'm going to be taking out more loans because I have to go here for 4 years instead of 3. But I'm not going to let myself, go more than 4 years. And it's hard, but I'm going to try not to think about the money and think about, this is what I want to do with my life. And if I do better, then I'll have a better chance of, getting a job, making mad bank, and then being able to pay off those loans eventually.
The biggest problem is that students really don't, either they know the deadlines and their parents aren't apprehensive to the deadlines, or it's that documents with the federal government or the state or the school or whatever somehow have gotten mixed up and it's not all fluid, or it can be that there are certain requirements that have now sprung up, or things have changed with those requirements. So over the years, financial aid has changed. So from last year to this year, it's been completely different changes in aid. 2 years ago, there was a whole upheaval in aid, and so everything keeps changing constantly. So it's trying to keep students updated with all those changes and everything's happening, and the deadlines and everything that we need from students.
I have a small loan taken out in my name. Next year I'm going to have a big loan taken out in my name, and the year after that it's probably going to be even bigger. But as of right now, I'm this year it wasn't bad. Next year it's going to be pretty bad. I'm pretty sure I only took $10,000 out this year. Only 10,000, not a big deal.
In general, if there's a student who is paying the interest while they're in school, they normally are able to pay their loans off somewhere around 5 to 6 years after they graduate, depending if they took their full loans the whole time they were in school. If a student hasn't paid the interest off, then that's when you start to see the longer times to pay off the loan. Montclair State's really lucky that even though we don't cost a lot, even though most people still think we cost a lot, but we don't cost as much as some of the other schools that are out there, especially some of the other state schools. Most of our students just have their Stafford loans, so they don't have as much loan burden as other students graduating from 4-year institutions. So most of our students are able to start paying their loans a lot quicker, and so they don't have a lot of the late fees and all the other issues that other schools have. So we see that most of our students are able to pay them off within 6 to 7 years if they have Stafford loans and maybe small private loans and things of that sort.
Right now, the current plan, the plan they give you, this is your monthly statement, this is how much you're gonna pay, it says 20 years, but I think with all of it together, since it's going to be a significant amount, I think over 20 to 30 years or more.
I'm hoping it'll take between 0 to 10 years to pay off. Wait, huh?
Someone's positive.
Yes, hopefully I get a job, and the revenue I get from my job, I'll pay my loans, which will hopefully not be over $100,000.
But no, it's just not my thing, and I couldn't understand it. I still call my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm getting this email. What does this mean? And he'll be look it up. I'm but I don't understand the terms they're using. They need to make it more user-friendly. We're just doing things on our own for the first time. I don't understand it. Most kids don't understand it.
I recommend students pay their interest if they can. Because on average, an interest payment can be anywhere between $20 to $80, depending on your year and then how much in loans you've accumulated over time. But if you definitely pay the interest while you're in school, you have a lower loan principal amount when you graduate. So if a student can pay the interest off while they're in school, one of the big keys I always tell people, you know, it's nice to have that graduation present, but when somebody says, oh, what do you want for graduation? Make a loan payment from it.
When I first started applying to schools, I knew I couldn't go anywhere too expensive. Montclair is actually my last choice. I love it, so, you know, nothing wrong going to your last choice school. But I knew it was going to be tough because my two younger sisters, one of them starting college next year, so we knew it was going to be easy my first year, second year not so much. But my relationship with my dad is rocky, so he's like, I'm going to cut you off if you don't get straight A's. I was like, Dad, that's not cool. I don't have money. And so right now I'm stressing out with, if I don't get good grades, my dad's going to cut me off, and then next year we're already going to be in worse shape because my sister's starting, and money is always a problem for everyone.
If someone's going to just take one loan, we say take the subsidized loan, and then sometimes students say, well, I only need $1,000 and this one's a lot bigger. We can change the loan amount. We can always lower it for you. So we rather you take the subsidized loan. The unsubsidized loan, that one accrues interest while you're in school, and the interest rate is 6.8%, and so it accrues interest at that rate. And if a student can pay the interest, we recommend that they pay that interest. But some students can't pay the interest because they don't have the money for it, or they don't have the funds, or they're just not thinking about it. They don't know that they can do that. But we do give people the information about how to find out who their lender is, so they can start paying that interest if they want to. We have it on our website. We have it in our office. Just because the lenders don't reach out to the students, so we want you to start reaching out to the lenders, so that way you know how much you have in loans and things of that sort too.
Well, currently I have federal loans that we get from the government after FAFSA, and then I have a Sallie Mae loan that my dad and I take out every summer for each year. I don't get any scholarships. I don't really have any grants, so that's how we pay.
I pay using loans, scholarships, and grants. I do not use the Sallie Mae.
And it's harder now with the economy, is what I definitely see with a lot of students. You know, the student part of the loans and aid and everything is pretty much the same, but now it's the parent part that's changing a lot, because parents had to, you know, they either filed bankruptcy, someone lost a job, or whatever happened to the parent, and so the parents they aren't able to help as much. And I think too, there's an aid gap that parents don't realize is there, because when they went to school, it was a lot cheaper, and they didn't really need the loans. There was a lot more federal money that went out to people at that time. So when they went to school, they ended up getting these huge financial aid packages that covered everything, and so they just automatically assume that's going to be the case when their student goes to school, and they never thought about saving, or they haven't thought about their credit and how that affects the student. So I think that's the biggest burden now.
I'm gonna take it one day at a time, because I know I'm gonna stress myself out if I try to plan ahead, that far.
Money, money, money.